Hello and welcome to CBSE with Sudhir, where we are going to start a very important chapter and a long chapter. So, my advice to you would be you could either see it in two parts because this would be a long chapter because it runs into 26 pages. Also, the idea is to do a line by line explanation ताकि आपको NCERT की textbook में कोई भी confusion ना हो. Subsequently, we will look at the question and answers that can be asked. Okay, वो हम बाद में करेंगे, लेकिन अभी पहले कोशिश करते हैं that we understand the chapter very well, and I'm going to show you something, okay, just to make this class a little more interesting. So what's the chapter called? It's called Diversity in the Living World. What does the word diversity mean? Diversity means that we say, oh, there are so many plants, है ना? But each and every plant is actually very different. Just like we say, oh, there are 30 students in this class, but each student is different from the other, which means it's a very diverse classroom. Same way, but also let me look at it this way. In the classroom, हो सकता है कि सारे के सारे बच्चे जो हैं ज्यादातर दो लोकेलिटी से, दो एरिया से आते हो. Okay, let's say आपकी क्लास है 30 स्टूडेंट्स है. They all come from two localities called Ashok Vihar and Buddha Vihar. Okay, I'm just taking random examples. So while we are saying that each student is different from the other, but in terms of diversity, itna nahi hai because they are all coming from the same neighborhood. However, if you had a classroom in which there are, let's say, 5 students from Punjabi families, 3 students from South Indian families, Telugu families, 2 students from Tamil families, 5 students from Bengali families, there are 3 Gujaratis, there are 2 Muslims, there is 1 Christian, there is 1 Parsi. So what it will do is there is an Anglo-Indian, then it would mean it's a very diverse classroom. It has different kinds of people from different backgrounds. That's the meaning of the word diversity. Similarly, in the plant kingdom, in the animal kingdom, there is a lot of diversity. In the way a plant, they're all green looking plants, but its leaves would be different, its flowers would be different, its roots would be different, its stem would be different, and that's what I'm going to show you and explain in this particular chapter. So यहाँ पर एक कहानी बताई गई है. I will tell it to you very briefly. It's a pleasant morning after yesterday's refreshing rain. कल बारिश हुई and it's a very fresh morning, and Dr. Raghu and Maniram Chacha have been invited to the school by the science teacher, Madam Sulekha, to facilitate. Facilitate means make it happen, an exciting nature walk. Abhi aap nature walk mein gaye hain, where you go into, let's say, a botanical garden, a garden in which there are lots of plants. Okay, in order to see different kinds of plants, different kinds of insects, different kinds of butterflies, so monkeys, dogs, everybody, nature. So you see the nature, you see the birds, what kind of sound different birds make. The sound of a sparrow will be different from the sound of a crow, from the sound of a cuckoo, from the sound of a myna or a peacock, if you have them, right? Have you ever seen how a peacock is a beautiful bird, but its voice is not very good? Okay, have you ever noticed? Please notice it the next time you go to any place where peacocks and peahens come. So it's an exciting nature walk. Dr. Raghu is a scientist. Okay, and Maniram Chacha is an elderly person from a nearby community. Maniram Chacha is an expert in mimicking bird calls. कि जिस तरह की आवाज birds निकालते हैं उसकी नकल करने में मनीराम चाचा काफी expert हैं. Okay, so he's also brilliant in identifying a variety of plants and animals. Yes, he wants to. Okay, so to prepare them for the nature walk, Dr. Raghu informs the students that the objective of this walk is to experience the beauty and variety of plants. Basically, कहानी का मतलब ये है, they want to experience कि उस particular park में किस तरह के plants हैं, किस तरह के animals हैं, किस तरह के insects हैं, किस तरह के butterflies हैं. Okay, so that is the entire idea. So to help that, Dr. Raghu and Maniram Chacha have been called by Sulekha ma'am to help the students with the nature walk. The students are excited to join them. They are curious to interact and learn from them because they are experts in that field. right? They are asked to carry a notebook, a pen and a water bottle. Water bottle क्यों? क्योंकि काफी चलने की जरूरत होगी तो प्यास लगेगी, so therefore they are asked to carry a water bottle also. So they start exploring the plants and animals around them. Dr. Raghu advises the students to notice the variety of smells in the park, because every plant, every flower has a different kind of fragrance. Smell is not the right word, fragrance, because khushbu ki correct, the better word especially when it comes to plants is fragrance. अगर फूड की बात हो तो the correct word would be aroma, AROMA. I'm just telling you the difference ताकि आपको इंग्लिश में भी मदद मिले. And emphasizes respecting all the living creatures and observing them without disturbing. कि हम आपको डिस्टर्ब ना करें. अगर कोई तितली उड़ रही है तो इसका मतलब नहीं कि अरे झपट्टा मारो मैंने तितली को पकड़ लिया. No, you are disturbing. How would it feel if a lion catches hold of you or a bear catches hold of you and does not allow you to leave? How would you feel? Similarly, don't do that to a beautiful butterfly, right? So Maniram Chacha tells the students to only observe different plants and animals, but also carefully listen to various sounds, because har आवाज alag hai, which is why the topic of the chapter is diversity. Okay. So the students come across a variety of plants, including grasses, bushes, and large trees. They also observe a variety of birds sitting on the branches of trees, butterflies moving from flower to flower, and monkeys. ये सब आप पढ़ सकते हैं, ये कहानी की तरह. It's like an English story. Okay, इसमें कुछ जो important बातें हैं उसमें कुछ खास नहीं है. So basically, this story you can read. So basically, they ask you, what is it that you observe? What is it that you learn from something like this? I would strongly suggest on a Sunday, you should go on a nature walk in your neighborhood. Even if you don't have an expert like Maniram Chacha or Dr. Raghu, फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, आप अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ जा सकते हैं. Just observe. Just on the basis of what you have read here, observe कीजिए. You are at the right age where you can observe and learn and absorb a lot of information. Okay. Wow, it's amazing. Each bird has its own unique chirp. Chirp means जिस तरह की आवाज चिड़िया करती है. Okay, so diversity in plants and animals around us. So ये activity है. Plan for a nature walk with your teacher to a park or a nearby forest. So अगर कोई ऐसी जगह है, if you are a teacher, if you are a parent, please encourage your child to go to a nature walk. Go on a nature walk. Okay, ये सब हो गया, ये सब आपको करना है. Now let's come to the पते की बात. ये है grass यानी कि घास. I went in the morning and I got it. Okay, I hope you can see this clearly in this particular thing. Let me just see whether focus किसमें ठीक बनता है. Okay, you can see this clearly now on the screen. This is grass, and look at the roots also. Okay, this is grass. This is the second one, which is tulsi. तुलसी जो कि आपके घर में भी होगा. फोकस आई होप ये ठीक है या करेक्ट है. ये है तुलसी. ओके, इसको मैंने डंडी से तोड़ा है, सो ये तुलसी है. ओके, दिस इज कंसिडर्ड ए सेक्रेड प्लांट विच इज यूज्ड फॉर डिफरेंट प्रेयर्स, पूजा वगैरह इन हिंदू होम्स. ओके, देन थर्ड, ये मेरे को मिला नहीं. ओके, इसको गुलमोहर कहते हैं. डेलोनिक्स हिबिस्कस प्लांट, हाइबिस्कस भी प्रोनाउंस करते हैं. इट्स अ रेड कलर प्लांट. Okay, very beautiful, good-looking plant. There used to be a place where there is no other, but I couldn't find it there. Okay, so these are the different things. Now, if you observe, okay, the common grass, the stem is soft and thin. जो stem है इसका, ये जो घास है, this is very very thin. If you observe, ये बहुत ही पतला है. Okay, a single leaf grows alternatively from different points on the stem. So you see the single leaf ये ग्रो कर रही है अलग अलग जगह से. ओके, अगर इसको मैं अलग कर दूं, इसको मैं अलग कर देता हूं घास को, सो आप देखेंगे कि एक ही स्टेम पे अलग अलग पॉइंट से देयर आर डिफरेंट लीव्स व्हिच आर ग्रोइंग. ओके, आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर यू कैन सी इट वेरी क्लियरली ऑन द स्क्रीन. लेट मी ब्रिंग इट क्लोजर. फोकस नहीं बनेगा ठीक से, बट यू कैन सी दैट देयर आर डिफरेंट थिंग्स. एटलीस्ट सम आइडिया तो बन जाएगा. ओके, दूसरी बात, एंड द लीव्स आर ऑब्वियसली ग्रीन. ये तो मालूम है, घास तो हमेशा ग्रीन होती है. वो कहावत है ना, द ग्रास इज ऑलवेज ग्रीन ऑन द अदर साइड. मतलब ये कि आपको लगता है अरे उसकी घास ज्यादा ग्रीन है, इसका मतलब सिर्फ घास से नहीं है कि उसकी परिस्थिति, उसका जो पूरा जो लाइफ है वो मेरी लाइफ से बेटर है. हमेशा लगता है द ग्रास इज ग्रीनर ऑन द अदर साइड. एक्चुअल में क्या होता है मालूम है? घास वहीं पर हरी होती है जहां पर उसको पानी मिलता है। तो अपनी घास पर पानी डालो, यानी कि अपनी मेहनत करो, तुम्हारी घास भी हरी हो जाएगी। दैट इज द मुहावरे का मतलब। दूसरा, तुलसी। तो इसका जो स्टेम है, इट इज बोथ हार्ड एंड थिन इन डिफरेंट पार्ट्स। जैसे जैसे उगता रहता है थोड़ा हार्ड होता रहता है, लेकिन जो इनिशियल स्टेज पर रहता है, it is actually a little soft only. You see, it is light brown in color, grayish brown, and it is both hard, but it's not very hard. It's not like a tree, but it is a little soft also. So it's hard and soft in the same manner. Okay. Arrangement of a pair of leaves in the opposite directions. यहां पर भी देखें, opposite directions में यहां पर leaves हैं. Okay. और तुलसी, अगर आपको जुकाम हो, कोल्ड हो, कॉफ हो, तुलसी के लीव्स खाना, च्यू करना इज कंसिडर्ड वेरी गुड. सो जस्ट प्लक ए लीफ, वॉश इट, जस्ट च्यू इट, much better than the bubble gum that you chew sometimes. Very bad habit according to me. So chew tulsi leaves, it will do your system much good. Okay. Then the flowers are pinkish purple. यहाँ पे flowers इतने नहीं हैं, but इसमें जो flowers वगैरह आते हैं, they are pinkish purple in color. Okay. ये तो हो गए तुलसी की बात. Hibiscus, the stem is hard. नीम, मैं लाना भूल गया, एक्चुअली नीम का पेड़ है यहाँ पर. Again, the stem is hard and thick, and the leaves are with smooth surfaces. Okay. Then they have asked you to look at any other. So इसमें से मैं दो लेके आया हूं. Actually, I've got more, which I will show over a period of time through this class. Okay. So what similarities and differences did you find among the plants that you observed? कि कुछ के स्टेम सॉफ्ट हैं, कुछ के हार्ड हैं, अलग अलग तरह के लीव्स हैं. जो ग्रास का लीफ है इज वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द लीफ ऑफ द तुलसी प्लांट, राइट. सिमिलरली अगर इसको देखें, इसको कहते हैं पेरीविंकल या सदाबहार प्लांट. थोड़ा सूख गया है ये. सो इसके लीव्स, मैं लीव्स के बारे में बताऊंगा. और दिस इज द फ्लावर, ए वेरी ब्यूटिफुल फ्लावर. इट्स कॉल्ड सदाबहार प्लांट एंड इट इज कॉल्ड इन इंग्लिश, इट इज कॉल्ड periwinkle. Okay. So, oh, I like the way the focus changed. Then एक और मैं लेके आया, ये इसको कहते हैं बोगनवेलिया. Okay. This flower has no smell at all. ये तो आपने काफी देखा होगा. Okay. इसके leaves के पैटर्न है, उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. And this is like almost like paper flowers की तरह दिखते हैं. You know, they are not. It's a bright pink color. And it looks good, but it does not have any kind of fragrance. Okay. So I thought, let me make the class a little interesting by showing you practical things. And this is what I want you to do on the nature walk also. That's what your NCERT textbook also says. So flowers are in different colors, shapes and scents, different shapes of leaves and their arrangements. Okay. तो ये सब तो हो गया. अरे रे रे, ये हो गया. Okay, now let's look at the animals का thing. Which are the animals or the birds that you observe? You may observe a crow, you may observe a cheetah, and you may observe a cow, you may observe any other animal or bird. So where there is a crow, you will find it sitting on the branch of a tree. The ant will be in the soil, okay, or burrow where it kind of creates a hole to get into the soil. Cow तो कहीं पर भी हो सकता है. What do they eat? The crow eats insects, the ant eats leaves, seeds and in other smaller insects. The grass, या कोई बड़ा इंसेक्ट मर गया हो तो there will be 100 चींटियां उसको ले जाके खाएंगी, या अगर कोई राइस का दाना हो तो उसको लेके जाएंगी, या शुगर का दाना हो तो उसको खाएंगी. Cow eats grass and leaves. They fly and walk. The crows, ये सब तो आपको मालूम है. I don't have to explain all this. I mean, you are grown up enough to observe all these things. So what are the similarities and differences among the animals that you have observed and recorded in table 2.2? That some animals live on land while some live on land as well as on trees. Birds live on trees, fish live in water, and some animals like frogs live on land as well as on water. In water, animals also have a variety of foods which they consume and movements they exhibit. Like a crow can eat vegetarian food, it can also eat non-vegetarian food. You find a dead rat, the crow will be acting almost like a scavenger, right? So इन सब के बारे में आपको जानना जरूरी है. Basically idea क्या है? To tell you that this world is very diverse and you have to acknowledge that diversity and you have to respect that diversity. कि आपको उस डाइवर्सिटी का रेस्पेक्ट करना पड़ेगा कि हाँ, हर जंतु, हर जीव जंतु अलग है. Everyone is actually different. No two living beings are actually similar. Even a cat will be different from another cat. A white cat will be different from black cat in terms of behavior. Among dogs, a German Shepherd will behave very different from an Indie dog, will behave very different from a Labrador, will behave very different from what do you call it, a Golden Retriever, right? So you have different kinds of dogs also depending on the breed, acting and behaving very differently. A German Shepherd, an Alsatian will be a ferocious dog. It can be a guard dog. But a Labrador will be one funny little dog, always very wanting. It's a family dog, right? So every dog's behavior also is very different. You call them, "Arey, kutta hai," but kutte mein bhi farak hota hai. Oh God. Is up to ho gaya? Then the teacher is asking them to draw different kinds of birds, animals, peacock, trees, etc., tortoise, snake, and everyone is looking on. Okay, yes, ab to ho gaya. Now, the variety of plants and animals found in a particular region contributes to the biodiversity of the region. In fact, Hyderabad mein, there is a park which is called Biodiversity Park. What does it celebrate? It celebrates the diversity which is there in the biological world. The biological world, which includes both birds, animals, as well as insects. So, the variety of plants and animals found in a particular region contributes. So, biodiversity includes the variety of plants, which I just now spoke about. It includes the variety of animals, birds, and insects found in a particular region. That contributes to the biodiversity of that region, and each member in the biodiversity of a region has a different role to play. Okay, please understand this, and I hope aapko in sabhi examples ke dwara I have been able to explain it to you that this is what it really means. Okay, as I explained to you even in the context of your classroom, right? For example, just imagine if your classroom had those kind of people. A Gujarati student will bring food, lunch, very different from a student from Tamil Nadu, very different from a student from Bengal or Assam, right? So even in the lunch, you will find a diversity of different kind of foods which have been packed by their parents, by their mothers. So that is again something very interesting. So that is also a different kind of diversity. But yahan par specifically in the context of the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, it will be referred to as biodiversity. So आपको वो definition याद रखना होगा कि what contributes to the biodiversity of a region. Trees provide food and shelter to some birds. Trees, they are helping in photosynthesis. They are also acting as a shelter for birds because चिड़िया अपना घोंसला उसकी टहनी पर बनाती है. It builds its nest on the branches of a tree. It lays its eggs, incubates them, and then the young ones become ready to fly. So it becomes the home for the bird. So you see, it's a multi-purpose kind of a tree. Provide food and shelter to the birds. उसके जो fruits होंगे, वो fruit नीचे गिरेगा, उसको गिलहरियां खाएंगी, उसको birds खाएंगे, उसको monkeys खाएंगे. So you see, one tree, if you plant a tree, it provides shade. One, it provides food to the animals and birds. Two, it provides photosynthesis. It gives us oxygen. Three, it becomes a shelter for the birds. Four. So you see, एक ट्री को लगाने से कितने लोगों को फायदा होता है. इसीलिए बोलते हैं पेड़ लगाओ, because it will help us save the environment and also have different other uses. Okay. Can you think of more such examples? This shows that plants and animals are dependent on each other, right? Great. How to group plants and animals? Now, how do you group them? You group them on the basis of their leaves, on the basis of their stems, on the basis of their roots. Okay, so let's look at it one by one. Okay, ये सब तो आपको whatever activity you have to do उसके बारे में है, so we will skip that portion. So you have some plants have flowers. Most of them they have. Some may not have flowers. Even something like a cactus has a flower. They may have hard or soft stem. What are the eating habits of the animals and the place they live. So these are the different groupings on which you can, on the basis of which you can divide. So how to group plants? So पहले plants करेंगे, उसके बाद animals करेंगे. Now, ये सब तो मैंने बता दिया on the basis of their height, stem, leaves, roots, etc. So let's go on a nature walk. ये तो हो गया. I'm not getting into too much of this thing because ये सब तो आप पढ़ लेंगे. जो बेसिक पते की बात है, जो जिसके बेसिस पर आपसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाएंगे, जो कि मोटी मोटी बात आपको समझने की है, उस पर वी विल फोकस मोर. ओके, बाकी बुक्स तो द वॉट एवर एक्टिविटीज यू हैव टू डू, प्लीज लुक एट इट सो दैट यू कैन डू इट इन कंसल्टेशन विद योर स्कूल टीचर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू हैव अ मैंगो ट्री. मेरे घर के बाजू में 2 मैंगो ट्रीज है. ओके, इनफैक्ट हम अपने खिड़की से हाथ बाहर करें तो वी कैन प्लक अ मैंगो ड्यूरिंग द समर सीजन, ड्यूरिंग द मैंगो सीजन. So mango trees are tall and they take a long time to flower, है ना? The main tree is brown in color. It is hard bark. It is thick and higher up on the stem, the appearance of branches, yes, and the name of the plant group tree. The rose, जो छोटा होता है, it is medium size, brown, hard. So these are the different observations that you make. टोमेटो, कभी टोमेटो प्लांट अपने किचन गार्डन में लगाया है? दैट डज नॉट टेक मच टाइम टू यील्ड यू अ टोमेटो, वेयरएज मैंगोज काफी साल लग जाते हैं बिफोर इट स्टार्ट्स टू फ्लावर एंड देन बिगिन टू बेयर फ्रूट. सो लेट्स लुक एट द डायग्राम. दिस इज अ मैंगो ट्री, ब्यूटिफुल इन दिस थिंग. एंड उसमें एक और बात देखो, ना केवल वो आपको फ्रूट देता है समर सीजन में, अप्रैल में, जून में, उसके साथ साथ जो उसकी जो लीव्स होते हैं, दे आर कंसिडर्ड ऑस्पिशियस फॉर डिफरेंट रिलीजियस फेस्टिवल्स ऑल्सो. तो उसमें मैंगो के पत्तों का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, राइट? सो देयर आर मोर यूजेस अपार्ट फ्रॉम शेड, अपार्ट फ्रॉम शेल्टर फॉर द बर्ड्स, राइट? सो व्हाट डिफरेंसेस डू यू ऑब्जर्व between herbs, shrubs and trees? How do you group plants? So some plants grow really tall and have hard, thick, brown and woody stems. Their branches typically start higher up, like in the case, like इसमें देखो, यहां से नहीं शुरू हो रहा है, नीचे से नहीं शुरू हो रहा है, ऊपर जाके ही branches आ रहे हैं. In the case of a mango tree, so the branches typically start higher up on the stem and away from the ground. तो ground के पास कोई भी branches नहीं है. अगर आम तोड़ना है तो आपको ऊपर हाथ ऊपर करके ही तोड़ना पड़ेगा, या किसी ना किसी तरह से उस टहनी को you will have to lower the branch in order to pluck the mango, right? These plants are called tree. So this is a mango tree. Please remember that mango is a tree, right? Similarly, people or banyan is a tree, right? So these are trees. However, ये देखो, अभी आप रोज को देखो, ये व्हाइट रोज है, येलो रोज होता है, रेड रोज होता है, ऑब्वियसली. सो ए मैंगो ट्री. दिस इज अ टोमेटो. सो दीज आर कॉल्ड श्रब्स एंड दीज आर कॉल्ड हर्ब्स, द टोमेटो वंस. ओके, तो इसमें फर्क ये है दैट सम प्लांट्स आर नॉट एज टॉल एज ट्रीज. बोथ रोजेस एंड टोमेटो प्लांट्स आर नॉट एज टॉल एज द मैंगो ट्री. इसमें क्या होता है दैट दीज प्लांट्स ऑफन हैव मेनी ब्राउन वुडी स्टेम्स. सो जो स्टेम है वो, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे रोज का नहीं है, रोज का जो स्टेम है आप अपने घरों में शायद गमलों में लगते होंगे, उसकी टहनी को देखें, उसके मेन ब्रांच को देखें, दैट विल बी ब्राउन इन कलर, ग्रीन विच ग्रेजुअली टर्न्स इनटू ब्राउन. छोटे में इट विल बी ग्रीन इन कलर, राइट? दैट स्टार्ट ब्रांचिंग वेरी क्लोज टू द ग्राउंड. और ऐसा नहीं है कि ऊपर जाके ही आएगा, नहीं, नीचे से ही ब्रांचेस आने लग जाते हैं, अनलाइक द मैंगो ट्री. And these stems are hard but not as thick as the stem of the tree. पेड़ का तो जो stem है, that will be this big, you cannot even hold it like that. Whereas the rose का होगा, वो पतला होगा, right? These plants are called shrubs. तो पहला हो गया पेड़, दूसरा हो गया shrub. Trees and shrub. Please remember, rose is a shrub. For example, a rose plant is a shrub. Some plants are typically small with soft and green stem. जैसे टोमेटो, उसका जो स्टेम है वो हरा रहेगा और काफी सॉफ्ट रहेगा. ओके, लेडी फिंगर काफी छोटा, काफी पतला रहता है, राइट? These are known as herbs. So trees, shrubs and herbs, ये तीनों कैटेगरीज आपको याद रखने पड़ेंगे. विद एग्जांपल क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है कि टोमेटो इज अ herb, shrub or tree. So the correct answer will be herb. For example, a tomato plant is a herb. Some plants with weak stems need support to climb and grow and are called climbers. जिसमें कि ये दम नहीं होता है कि वो अपने दम पर खड़े रहें, तो उनको किसी ना किसी तरह के सपोर्ट की जरूरत पड़ती है. सो दे काइंड ऑफ दे लीन ऑन द वॉल, या कोई लकड़ी हो तो उसके अराउंड लीन करते हैं, जैसे मनी प्लांट हो गया या कई सारे कुकुम्बर हो गया, वाटरमेलन हो गया. सो दे ऑल काइंड ऑफ दे जस्ट कीप creeping and climbing like that. That's why they are called climbers. Some plants creep along the ground and are called creepers. So कुछ होंगे जो जमीन पर ही creep करते रहेंगे, तो उनको creepers कहते हैं. तो एक तो climbers हो गया, as the word suggests, climbing up. There'll be others which are like just like creepers out there, right? So ये तो हो गए plants के basic look के basis पर you are classifying them. Now, you may observe thin lines on the leaves of the plants. These are called veins. Now, इसमें दिखेगा या नहीं मुझे मालूम नहीं. I'll try to show it to you. अभी देखो, दिख रहा है क्या ये? It's not very clear. Focus. अभी दिख रहा है ना? जो लाइंस दिख रहे हैं, दोज आर नोन एज द वेन्स ऑफ द लीफ. ओके, जो पैरेलल ऐसे ऐसे लाइंस जो जा रही हैं, सो दोज आर नोन एज द वेन्स ऑफ द लीफ. द पैटर्न ऑफ वेन्स ऑन द लीफ इज कॉल्ड वेनेशन. डेफिनेशन है, प्लीज याद रखना. द पैटर्न ऑफ वेन्स ऑन द लीफ इज कॉल्ड वेनेशन. जो यहां पर ये पेरिविंकल में इस तरह से you have the line, so you have the leaf like that, और उसमें बीच में लाइन है, and the veins are like this. Okay, the veins are like this. Okay, so this is the leaf in the case of sadabahar plant or periwinkle. What differences do you see in the veins of leaves which are shown जो पहले के इसमें जो है? ओके, ये हो गया हिबिस्कस का. इट हैज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड रेटिकुलेट वेनेशन. द बनाना, केले का पत्ता में खाना खाया है कभी? साउथ इंडियंस वुड बी यूज्ड टू दैट, राइट? केले के पत्ते में जो खाना खाते हैं उसके लीव्स आर पैरेलल, यानी कि आप देखें ऑल द लाइंस आर पैरेलल टू ईच अदर. ओके, सब स्ट्रेट लाइंस हैं, दे आर ऑल पैरेलल. सिमिलरली जो ग्रास लीफ है, जो मैंने यहां पर घास का दिखाया, उसका भी उसमें इतना पतला है, दिखेगा नहीं. तो उसमें जो ये है लीफ है, दैट इज गोइंग पैरेलल लाइक दिस, ऊपर ऊपर. ये इस तरह से है, ये इस तरह से है. सो इट विल ऑल बी पैरेलल. वेयर एज दिस पर्टिकुलर लीफ हैज रेटिकुलेट वेनेशन, यानी कि हाथ की रेखाओं की तरह इधर उधर जा रही है. नाउ इन सम लीव्स यू कैन ऑब्जर्व ए नेट लाइक पैटर्न, veins on both sides of a thick middle vein. This pattern is called reticulate venation. That is in the case of a hibiscus flower leaf. ये हो गया. In some leaves you will say run parallel. This pattern called parallel venation. For example, the leaves of banana plants and grasses exhibit parallel venation. Okay. तो उसके बेसिस पर भी प्लांट्स को डिवाइड किया जा सकता है. You can divide plants on the basis of their pattern of their veins as well. ये हो गया. जो भी आपको एक्टिविटीज करने हैं, आई एम नॉट गेटिंग इनटू दैट. नाउ लेट्स गेट इनटू येट अनदर वे ऑफ क्लासिफाइंग इट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रूट्स. नाउ यू सी द पैटर्न ऑफ रूट्स. जो नीचे जो रूट्स हैं, इसके रूट्स और इसके रूट्स में काफी फर्क है. नाउ दिस इज कॉल्ड ए मस्टर्ड प्लांट, यानी कि सरसों का पौधा. तो सरसों का पौधा जो कि यहां पर येलो येलो फ्लावर्स आते हैं, people in Punjab would be familiar with this for sure. सरसों का खेत जो होता है, ओके, जिसमें काफी फिल्म शूटिंग्स भी होती हैं. शाहरुख खान की दिलवाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे was there. So you have what is called a taproot system wherein you have a single root और उसमें से सब रूट्स निकली हैं. You know, सब SUB- roots are going from here. Whereas this is called grass. जो grass का जो रूट्स हैं, इसमें थोड़े से दिख रहे हैं. एक्चुअली आई हैव नॉट टेकन इट फ्रॉम द रूट्स डायरेक्टली. तो इसमें यू हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड द फाइब्रस रूट सिस्टम, व्हिच इज पूरा घना काइंड ऑफ अ फाइब्रस रूट सिस्टम इज देयर. सो दैट्स द डिफरेंस इन द रूट सिस्टम ऑफ द two plants. So observe carefully the roots of a mustard plant. The roots of this plant consist of one main root and small side roots arising from it. The main root is called the taproot. Another example of a plant having taproots is hibiscus, observed by you. पहले जो hibiscus वाला था उसमें भी you had taproot. Groundnut, जो कि आंध्र प्रदेश के अनंतपुर जिले में काफी उगता है, and I have kind of traveled there quite a lot. तो वहां पर भी आप देखें तो that will also have the taproot system. The plant in this one is a common grass, so मैंने बोला इसको fibrous root कहते हैं, where there is similar size thin roots arising from the main thing. It's like a ghana kind of a thing. That is one single root, and then there are this side roots. So taproot and fibrous root, ये आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. You should be able to identify. अगर आपसे पिक्चर क्वेश्चन आपसे एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है तो ओके. तो हो गया पहला. ये रिकैप करते हैं, रिवाइज करते हैं. पहला तो हो गया ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द वेन्स ऑफ द लीफ. दूसरा हो गया ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर रूट्स. याद आ गया, समझ में आ गया. लेट्स गो अहेड. नाउ आपसे ये एक्टिविटी करने को बोला है कि किस तरह से आप ले जाएं, पार्क में जाएं, देखें और एग्जामिन करें कि किसके लीव्स किस तरह से हैं, किसके रूट्स किस तरह से हैं, और आप ये चार्ट बनाएं. सो दिस इज एन एक्टिविटी विच योर स्कूल विल एक्सपेक्ट यू टू डू while you go to your park. तो उसमें आप different kinds of plants को दे सकते हैं. 5 plants को दे सकते हैं. उसके रूट्स को ऑब्जर्व कीजिए, उसके प्लांट्स के लीव्स के वेन्स को ऑब्जर्व कीजिए और लिखिए कि क्या वो पैरेलल वेनेशन है या रेटिकुलेट वेनेशन है, क्या वो टैप रूट सिस्टम है या फाइब्रस रूट सिस्टम है. अंडरस्टूड? चलो 1 मिनट वाटर ब्रेक फॉर सर. चलो. नाउ ए सदाबहार प्लांट जो मैंने आपको दिखाया हैज ए टैप रूट एंड इट्स लीव्स हैव रेटिकुलेट वेनेशन. ये जो मैंने दिखाया ना, कहां गया वो, ये वाला जो था, जो पिंक फ्लावर वाला था, दिस हैज रेटिकुलेट वेनेशन बिकॉज ऐसे ऐसे जा रहा है बोथ साइड्स पे, एंड इट हैज अ टैप रूट सिस्टम. ओके. Lemon grass, on the other hand, has fibrous roots and its leaves have parallel venation. So, अलग-अलग plants का अलग-अलग type होगा, which is why I go back to the title of the chapter, which is diversity. यानी कि हम बोलते हैं अरे बहुत सारे plants हैं, but हर plant अलग है, हर plant की कहानी अलग है, right? Chickpea is another. जैसे होता है ना, किसी दिन आप जाएं, oh somebody is wearing a blue shirt, somebody is wearing a black shirt, someone is wearing a red shirt. There is diversity. You're not wearing a school uniform. When you wear a school uniform, the idea is to make everyone look similar in a school because you don't want any kind of discrimination. But outside the school, you're all very diverse. So chickpea, जो कि चना होता है, is another example of a plant with taproot. ये सभी examples को आप एक बॉक्स में लिख लीजिए ताकि अगर उसके ऊपर प्रश्न पूछा जाए कि चिकपी का बताओ कौन सा रूट सिस्टम है, तो आपको याद रहना चाहिए. ओके. सो इट हैज taproot and a reticulate venation. Wheat is an example of a plant with fibrous roots and parallel venation. ये सारे examples I'm repeating. एक टेबल में लिखे लीफ पैटर्न एंड रूट सिस्टम के बारे में लिख लो. जो भी एग्जांपल्स आपकी एनसीईआरटी टेक्स्ट बुक में दिए गए हैं उसके ही प्रश्न आपसे क्वेश्चंस में एग्जाम में पूछे जा सकते हैं. यू कैन बी आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट हैज बीन रिटन इन द एनसीईआरटी टेक्स्ट बुक. सो मेक श्योर यू प्रिपेयर अ टेबल एंड राइट ऑल दिस वेरी क्लियरली सो दैट यू डोंट मेक ए मिस्टेक. दिस 1 mark 2 mark क्वेश्चंस यू शुड नॉट लूज आउट इन द एग्जामिनेशन. now let's look at the seed because हर बीज से from a seed is what a plant comes, right? So what you see is that अगर आप, and this is an experiment you can do at home, अपनी मम्मी से बोलिए थोड़े से मेरे को 4-5 चने दे, okay, चिकपी दे, and you soak it in water for 2 to 3 days. I remember my daughter had also done this experiment. Okay, so you soak the chana in water for about 3 days. After 3 days, it will become very soft. Then you remove the seed coat of the chana. Now observe the structure of the chickpea and the maize seeds. अगर maize का भी बीज मिले तो उसका भी कीजिए. Are they similar or different? So in the case of a chickpea, you will find it is a dicot seed, right? That is, there are 2 cotyledons. There are 2 sides. Okay. Whereas in the case of a maize, it will be a monocot seed. That is, there will be a single thing. There won't be two like it. So even in the terms of the seed, different plants are very different. हम इसको भी खाते हैं, इसको भी खाते हैं, लेकिन उनके अंदर का जो बीज है, the seed which they have, they look so different. This is single, this is double. Okay, तो याद रखना. So chickpea seeds are split into two parts. Each part is called a cotyledon. Plants that have seeds with two cotyledons are called dicotyledons, dicots. Maize has a single thin cotyledon, so such ones are called monocots. So what relation do you observe between leaf venation, root types and the number of cotyledons in the seeds? Now यहाँ पर ये important है, इस बात को जरा याद रखने की जरूरत है. Dicot plants, that is things like chana, chickpea, have reticulate venation and a taproot system. Dicot, reticulate, taproot, ये तीनों एक साथ आते हैं. Monocot have parallel venation and a fibrous root system. ये इस तरह से याद रख लेना. यानी कि अगर किसी का fibrous root है तो ये होगा कि वो monocot seed होगा और parallel venation होंगे उसके पत्तों पर. On its leaves, it will have parallel venation. So that is something which you need to remember. So ये दो categories आप याद रख लेना. Dicot, D-R-T. तो इसको इस तरह से याद रखो, कोड बना लो. ओके, तो याद रखने के लिए कैसा, ताकि आप कंफ्यूज ना हो. So the best way always is to make your codes. So the first one, dicot, reticulate, taproot, यानी कि D-R-T. Okay. The second one will be monocot, parallel, fibrous, यानी कि M-P-F. So M-P-F और D-R-T को याद रखो. You will not forget DRT, MPF. Okay, अगर आप याद रखेंगे, you will not forget what is what. Okay. Then how to group animals. Now let's move. अगर plants का पूरा समझ में आ गया तो let's move to animals. And let me tell you, plants तो मैं लेके आ सकता था, मैं कोई animal को classroom के अंदर नहीं ला सकता. Okay, so ये तो diagram के साथ, photographs के साथ ही समझना पड़ेगा. Okay, so now let's look at the animals part. So you would have recorded the movement of a few animals, birds fly, insects are on the soil, etc. Right? So if you see here, there are different kind of animals which are shown. These are the sparrows, the birds, this is the earthworm, the rabbit, the scorpion, the tortoise, the frogs, the fish, the butterfly, the cow, the ant, okay, the snake, right? So all these are there. So what is the kind of movement they have? An ant will move with the help of its legs and it will have many legs. Goat will have 4 legs and it will walk and jump. Pigeon will fly. Housefly will both walk as well as fly. तुम मक्खी को मारने जाओगे वो उड़ जाती है, right? वो बोलते हैं ना, छोटे में खेला था, चिड़िया उड़, भैंसा उड़, and you will do this and you will be out, right? Butterfly उड़, कौवा उड़, कबूतर उड़, भालू उड़. You will not say that, right? It's similar to that. So if you have played that game and if you did well and not took the finger out at that time, that means you will do well in this section. The छोटे में जो games खेले थे, that will come in handy. Okay. Fish move with the help of its fins. They are called fins, not wings. So ये हो गया, different types. They use this thing. So okay, ये सब तो बता दिया. Okay. Janaki Ammal was an Indian botanist dedicated to environmental work and helped document and preserve India's rich plant biodiversity. She played a key role in the Save Silent Valley movement. As the head of the Botanical Survey of India, she initiated programs to document the plant diversity of India. So please remember this, because by chance अगर आपके teacher ने decide किया कि that I will test them on who is Janaki Ammal, please write 2 sentences on her. You should be able to write what she did. Janaki Ammal. In fact, my mother's name is Janaki. Okay, so she was an Indian botanist. Botanist means she kind of worked on the study of the plant kingdom, right? And she kind of researched on a large number of plants in order to understand what different kinds of plants do we have in different parts of India. Okay, then since we are talking about the Silent Valley movement, this is a real story of a forest in Palakkad district of Kerala. I actually come from Palakkad. I was born in Palakkad in Kerala. It is about preserving untouched beauty of a moist evergreen forest. Now, this particular movement, the Silent Valley जो project का जो movement था, that started in 1973. Okay, so the now famous Silent Valley was saved by a remarkable movement led by common people who were not even residing in the vicinity. जो वहां पर रहते भी नहीं थे. Basically, the idea was that don't build, different dams, etc. in that kind of a place, which will spoil the ecology and the environment of that place. Because if you spoil the natural environment, it will lead to a complete, you will lose very rare species of plants and animals. You will disturb the ecology of the area. Then you will not get the regular monsoons. जैसे आजकल होता है ना, very erratic monsoon. कभी कभी जब when it is not supposed to rain, it rains very heavily. There is a cloud burst. These are all erratic. This is all because of climate change that we're speaking about. So at that time, this particular movement was conducted in the 1970s. At that time, people used all possible available means such as widespread awareness programs, letters to editors, articles in newspapers, seminars and petitions and appeals. And the movement was successful in saving the Silent Valley so that, it remains a place which is untouched by man. हर जगह पर man को जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. हर जगह पर हम घुस जाएं और अपनी buildings बनाना शुरू करें. No, it is a no. Certain places should be left completely untouched. Nature should rule there. वहां पर रहने वाले आदिवासी हो, बर्ड्स हो, पशु हो, उनको आजादी होनी चाहिए अपने नेचुरल हैबिटेट में रहने की. अभी होता है ना, यू सी ऑन यूट्यूब एंड ऑन डिफरेंट इंस्टाग्राम वगैरह पे यू सी दिस रील्स, कि कहीं पे शेर घुस आया, कहीं पर हाथी घुस आया. अरे हाथी नहीं घुस के आया, तुम हाथी के घर में जाके अपना घर बना लिए तो ऑब्वियसली हाथी वहां पर आएगा ना. वो तो वहां पे तो हाथी रहता था, तुम वहां पर घुस गए, तुमने जंगल को क्लियर किया, तुमने अपने घर बना लिए और तुम कहते हो अरे हाथी आ रहा है मेरे घर पे तोड़ने के लिए. नो, हाथी इज कमिंग बिकॉज दैट्स हिज एरिया. Understood? So you need to understand that man is a very greedy person. He goes everywhere thinking, मेरा तो बाप का राज है. No, बाप का राज नहीं हो सकता है. It is supposed to be the raj of the animals, the lions, the tigers, the cheetahs, the peacocks and the different birds. So you cannot go in and हर जगह पर हक जमाने की जरूरत नहीं होती. Okay? Understood? ये मैं अपना ज्ञान दे रहा हूं. Okay, so that was at the heart of the Silent Valley movement. Now, plants and animals in different surroundings. Now, you may have observed इसमें. Let's consider fish and goats as example. Fish live in water. Okay, fish live in water. Goats live on land. Now, this part is very interesting. A lot of interesting information and photographs. Okay, so fish का क्या है? अगर आप मुझे नहीं मालूम कि आप में से कितने लोग स्विम करते हैं. अगर आप स्विम करते हैं तो आप देखेंगे कि द आइडिया व्हाइल यू शुड बी एबल टू डू गुड स्विमिंग इफ यू हैव अ स्ट्रीमलाइन बॉडी, राइट? इफ यू आर एबल टू गो स्ट्रेट. अगर आप ऐसे जाएंगे तो आपकी स्पीड हमेशा कम होगी क्योंकि आप बॉडी सरफेस, वाटर सरफेस पर ज्यादा बॉडी को यूज कर रहे हैं. Whereas if you swim straight like this, you will always be able to swim faster. Very similar to cycling. Cycling में क्या होता था? In fact, there is a very interesting story. I was reading a biography by Lance Armstrong. And one of the things that was said, about a team which was not doing well, उसका क्या किया? उन्होंने क्या किया? उनके साइकिल्स का जो बॉडी वेट था उसको कम किया. जिस तरह के कपड़े साइक्लिस्ट यूज कर रहे थे उसको ठीक किया. यानी कि something which kind of is not loose, it's tight to the body so that you are not having any loss because of friction. So the idea always is to have something which goes very very linear. Okay, मैं आपको इधर उधर की जानकारी देता रहूंगा because I believe you are at an age where you need to have a lot of general knowledge beyond what is taught in the classroom, right? What is in the syllabus. So syllabus के related जो भी जानकारी होगी, don't think अरे सर कितना पकाते हैं, इधर उधर की बातें करते हैं. No, this is general knowledge. अरे tomorrow if you go to a quiz competition and if you get a question like this, you'll say सुधीर सर ने बताया था. You need to know that because this is the time when you need to absorb a lot of it and you should take part in quiz competitions. I used to go to quiz competitions. I've gone on television also when I was in school. College, not school. So you go there, you take part in different competitions. You need to do that. So let me come back to the point. सो यहां पर जो फिश का बॉडी है आप देखेंगे इट इज लाइक दैट, समझ गए, इट इज लाइक दैट इन ऑर्डर टू बी एबल टू स्विम फास्टर in the water, and these are the fins which help it swim. Okay, these are called the fins, 1 2 3 etc. Okay, now goat को वो जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. So goats live in grassy areas and move with the help of legs. The sizes and shapes of animals also differ from one another. Okay, नाउ इफ यू सी इन द डेजर्ट, अगर आप राजस्थान कभी गए हो और हमारे यहाँ पे कोई स्टूडेंट्स हो जो कि राजस्थान से हो, देयर यू हैव द ऊंट, द कैमल, राइट? सो द कैमल is an animal which survives in the desert. You have in the ocean, you have the fish. On the mountains, you have the deodar trees or the pine trees. In the forest, you have the lion and the tiger and the bear. This is a photograph of a cactus which have these kind of very thick stems. क्यों? So that they can survive even without water. Cactus की वो खासियत होती है, right? Now, if you see, now it says during a discussion in the classroom, Alex, who is a student, recalls that he observed cactus plants with thick and fleshy stems in the deserts of Rajasthan, right? Maya shares that she saw deodar trees in the Himalayas of Himachal Pradesh. Okay, this is the deodar tree. Now, these trees are conical in shape and have flexible and sloping branches. Now, what happens is that animals and trees also adapt themselves to be comfortable in that kind of an environment. अगर बहुत धूप है, बहुत गर्मी है, or it is very cold, it kind of adapts itself to be able to cope with the weather conditions. इसका example क्या है? So, ये तो हो गया deodar tree, cactus देख लिया. अब मैं बताता हूं. Okay, now please note that these two types of plants found in different regions are different from each other. Why is that so? Why does the biodiversity of a region vary from that of another? Let us find out. Now, this is an important part. Please make a note of this. There is very little water available in the desert. ये तो मालूम है, राजस्थान के थार डेजर्ट में पानी की कमी है. There is little availability of water. So a hot desert is typically very hot during the day and very cold during the night. Do you know that? In the night, Rajasthan can get very cold. But in the daytime, the temperatures during summers can touch even 48 and 50 degrees. Right? So therefore, you will find plants and animals in these areas which can tolerate and survive both the hot conditions and the cold conditions. So you need to be in such a this thing. I mean, वो ऐसा थोड़ी हो सकता है रात को स्वेटर निकाल ले camel. No, it cannot have a sweater, right? So it needs to have a body which can withstand both the heat and the cold in the night. So the fleshy stems of plants found in the desert can store water. This is important and help them to tolerate the hot conditions in these places. The mountains, अब चलते हैं पहाड़ों पर. The mountains in extremely cold regions experience frequent snowfall. बर्फ गिरती है, right? If any of you live in Shimla, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu, Kashmir, etc., please write in with your experience. This is meant to be an India classroom, a Bharat classroom, where students from different states should share their experiences. That will make all of us more well informed. Okay. In order to survive in such conditions, some of the trees have the ability to let the snow slide off easily. कि अगर उसके ऊपर बर्फ गिरे, so the surface of the tree should be such that the snow can fall off. Okay, because if the snow continues to attach itself to the leaf, the quality of the leaf will suffer. The life of the leaf will be less. So it should be in such a thing that the leaf actually falls off. Okay. So conical shape. So अगर leaf ऐसा है, so if it is in this kind of conical shape, so the snow will fall off. In order to survive in such conditions, some of the trees have the ability to let the snow slide off. Conical shape and sloping branches of the other trees enable them to do so easily. तो इससे काफी मदद मिलती है. You must have understood by now that the biodiversity varies from region to region because of diverse condition. Now let's look at the images. Now let's look at a camel. Camel भी एक रीजन में उसका दूसरे रीजन में अलग रहता है. कैसे? Now this is a camel in Rajasthan. This is a camel living in Rajasthan. This is a camel in Ladakh. Now both are deserts. This is a desert with a lot of sand. This is a desert with a lot of ice. Ladakh, okay, which is now a union territory. पहले जम्मू एंड कश्मीर का भाग होता था. Now it's a separate union territory. So you see the camel, इस पे यहाँ पर इतने सारे बाल वगैरह हैं. This camel does not have anything of the sort. Why? These are called the hooves. The legs are called the hooves. The bottom part of the legs, जो जिसको कि जैसे हम feet कहते हैं, उसको hooves कहते हैं in the case of a camel. The camel in the hot desert has long legs with wide hooves. Alex shares that his grandmother told him that the long legs and wide hooves help these camels to walk on this sandy desert without sinking into the sand. रेत के अंदर जाने के बिना, so that it does not sink into the sand. But the height and legs of camels in a cold desert like Ladakh are comparatively shorter than those found in a hot desert. These short legs allow them to walk easily on mountainous region, right? So that अगर इतना बड़ा होता, पहाड़ पे चढ़ता तो बैलेंस गिर सकता था. So that's why these camels found in Ladakh are shorter than the camels which are found in Rajasthan. So ये भी एक important question है जिसके ऊपर आपसे एग्जाम में पूछा जा सकता है. So please make a note of it. I hope you have understood. In deserts, food is not available easily. Camels store food in their humps. Now, this is important that camels, because it's quite possible that for many days they may not have any food or water. So, the camels store food in their humps. Okay, यहाँ पर जो body part है. Camels in the hot desert have one hump each that helps them to survive during the scarcity of food. Camels in the cold desert have two humps each. These two humps shrink in late winters because there is not much food available in the cold desert, and they have to use food stored in their humps during that time, right? So that is the thing, that they have to kind of use the humps in order to survive during the cold winters. Moreover, they grow long hair from head to neck, which helps them survive the cold winters of Ladakh. The more the hair which is there, it helps them keep warm so that they don't feel very cold. Okay, so this is something important जहां तक camels का सवाल है from Rajasthan and Ladakh. अब जैसे ये हुआ, बाकी स्टूडेंट्स भी शेयर करना शुरू कर दिए. Kashi from Rajasthan says that camels excrete small amounts of urine. Their dung is dry and they do not sweat, so that they don't lose water. Camels don't lose much water as their bodies. They can survive for many days without drinking water. So that is another way कि ज़्यादा पसीना वगैरह नहीं आता है, so they don't kind of lose water from their bodies. Maya talks about seeing plants with beautiful bright flowers, rhododendrons in the Shola forest of Nilgiris. Nilgiris कहाँ पर है? It is in Tamil Nadu. The Ooty, Kodaikanal, especially Ooty, that's all called the Nilgiris. Here rhododendrons are of shorter height. This is the photograph with orangish kind of flowers through the heavy winds on mountain tops. So they have smaller leaves to survive through the heavy winds. अब ऊपर जब पहाड़ पे होंगे, हवा बहुत होगी, तो they can kind of blow away. So they have smaller leaves. However, Pema, who is from Sikkim, mentions that she has observed that the same rhododendrons in the nearby mountains to be taller. तो ये है सिक्किम में. ये हो गया नीलगिरीज तमिलनाडु में, ये सिक्किम में, in the northeastern part of India. Here the trees are a little taller, so they have different features. So it's the same plant family, but because of being in different regions, they actually look differently. So that's again something, it's almost like the plants have also adapted themselves over a period of time to the different weather conditions in their particular regions. Sagar says that he went to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands with his parents for a special event, and there he saw whales and colorful fish in the ocean. There was the streamlined body, जिसके बारे में मैंने आपको पहले बताया, the streamlined body of the fish, which makes it easier for them to swim in water. Okay, मैंने social science के चैप्टर में बताया था that I had gone to the Andaman. So you go down on a sea walk, you are able to touch the corals, and you have different fish of different colors, very colorful fish moving all around you. Very fascinating. If you ever get an opportunity, it is a must do in the Andamans. Okay, you must try to do that. Andamans में कर सकते हैं. I'm told you can do it in Lakshadweep also. We have learned that the plants and animals living in a particular region have special features that make them fit to survive there. The special features that enable plants and animals to survive in a particular region are called adaptation. तो अभी तक जो मैंने बताया उसका सार ये था, the meaning of that was that they are able to adapt, and that is what is called adaptation. Over a period of time, both plants and animals have adapted themselves to the different weather conditions in order to survive. Okay. The shape of the deodar tree and the height of the rhododendron are adaptations that enable them to survive in the mountainous region. deodar tree में क्यों क्या, और ये सारे because वाले क्वेश्चंस में आपसे पूछा जा सकता है कि why does deodar tree have conical shaped branches, right? So you should be able to answer that. We will do the question and answers later. Okay. The place where the plants and animals live is called their habitat. Now habitat is a thing, ये word आप याद रख लीजिए, and वो definition भी याद कर लीजिए. जहां पर प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स रहते हैं उसको हैबिटाट कहते हैं. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल द हैबिटाट ऑफ अ सी टर्टल इज द सी और द ओशन. कछुआ समुद्र के अंदर रहता है. द हैबिटाट ऑफ अ कैमल इज द हॉट और द कोल्ड डेजर्ट. आपने कभी ऊंट को किसी तरह के बिल्कुल क्या कहते हैं बीच के पास देखा है? आई मीन ज्यादातर नहीं, आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स कैमल राइड्स के लिए लोग लेके आते हैं, बट दैट्स नॉट इट्स natural habitat. Its natural habitat is this hot or the cold desert, right? The habitat of plants, habitat of rhododendron is the mountains. The habitat of plants and animals provides them food, water, air, shelter, and other needs for their survival. Many types of plants and animals may share the same habitat. Habitat plays an important role in shaping the biodiversity of a region. This last line is important. So, जिस तरह के एक habitat बन जाता है एक plant का या animal का, that kind of plays a role in shaping की okay, यहां पर ये बायोडाइवर्सिटी है, यहां पर इस तरह का कैमल पाया जाता है, यहां पर इस तरह का की गाय पाई जाती है. नो, दिस काइंड ऑफ काउस एंड बफेलोस आर फाउंड इन दिस रीजन, बट द काउस एंड बफेलोस इन दैट रीजन आर अ लिटिल टॉलर देन दिस. सो थिंग्स लाइक body size, height, everything could change from region to region. Another scientist about who you need to know, he is Salim Ali, ornithologist. Ornithologist का spelling मालूम है आपको, मैं बता देता हूं. Ornithology is the study of birds. Okay, is the study of birds, and the person who studies or this birds, ornithologist. Okay, ornithologist. Okay, so that's what he did. So he is a very famous bird watcher. He observed the diversity in birds. He prepared a list of birds and documented their travel routes and habitats. ऐसे होता है ना, नेल्लोर में, आंध्र प्रदेश में, every year Siberian birds come. You know, they are called the migratory birds. How do they know कि हमको इस समय पर, इस महीने पर इंडिया के नेल्लोर इन आंध्र प्रदेश में जाना है और वहां पर एक तालाब है, वहां पर जाके रहना है. There is also called the Pulicat Lake, etc., where all these migratory birds fly all the way from Siberia to come to Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. How do they know, right? So he observed all these different behavior of birds, and that's why Salim Ali is considered so good. So he recorded the regions with high diversity of birds and took measures to conserve these regions. Keladeo National Park in Bharatpur, Rajasthan, and the Ranganatha Thittu Bird Sanctuary in Mandya in Karnataka are examples of regions he preserved, where he recorded कि ना किस तरह का bird behavior है, किस तरह की आवाजें हैं, क्या खाते हैं, how long do they survive, which kind of trees do they build their nests on, you know, different kinds of behavior. You know, it's not like a bird would build its nest on any tree कि कोई भी मिल गया बना दो. No, it will be very particular कि मेरे को ये इसी तरह का पेड़ चाहिए जहां पर मैं अपना घोंसला बनाऊंगी, right? So he's known as the Birdman of India. इस बात को भी याद रखिए ताकि you will be able to identify Dr. Salim Ali. Then what are the different ways you can group plants? ये सब तो हो गया. Yeah, okay. This is another one. One way to group animals is that those who live on land and those who live in water. So these are known as the one who live on land are known as terrestrial animals. Okay, they are known as terrestrial habitats. Okay, some examples of terrestrial habitats are forests, deserts, जो भी जमीन हो, grasslands हो, mountains हो. And those who live in water are known as aquatic habitats. Terrestrial and aquatic habitats. सो यहां पर हो गया पॉन्ड्स हो गया, तालाब हो गए, नदी हो गई, समुद्र हो गया, एक्सेट्रा. So some animals such as frogs can live in both, can live in water as well as in land. Those are known as amphibians. So terrestrial, aquatic, amphibians. ये तीनों terms आपको याद रखने पड़ेंगे. इसकी definition पूछी जा सकती है या आपसे कोई उदाहरण पूछा जा सकता है कि ये बताओ कि ये aquatic है, terrestrial है या amphibians है. Okay. What would happen if the habitat of a plant or animal is damaged? What would happen if a goat does not get grass? अगर घास नहीं मिलेगी तो बकरी क्या खाएगी? बकरी दूध कैसे देगी? राइट? कैन ए फिश सर्वाइव विदाउट वाटर? अगर आप मछली को बाहर निकाल देंगे, कैन इट सर्वाइव विदाउट वाटर? ऑब्वियसली इट कैन नॉट. सो दोज आर थिंग्स व्हिच यू नीड टू bear in mind. The population of the Bengal tiger, cheetah, and the great Indian bustard have declined in India. Tiger, cheetah, and the great Indian bustard because of loss of natural habitat. अभी चीता देखो इंडिया में एक्सटिंक्ट हो गया था. Then now we have got them from South Africa and released them in the Kuno National Park in मध्य प्रदेश. वहां पर भी कई सारे चीते की मृत्यु हो गई है because they take time to adjust. But of course, some of them have given birth to cubs. So over a period of time, the cheetah population in India in Kuno should stabilize. Also, because they run so fast, they need a large area. नहीं तो होता क्या है, they kind of go outside the boundaries of the Kuno National Park into the villages which are there on the periphery of the park, and that can be dangerous for the people there. So Project Tiger was initiated in 1973 to protect the declining population of the Royal Bengal tiger. The cheetah reintroduction project was initiated in 2022 to restore the population of the cheetah. Similarly, habitats of the great Indian bustards have been declared as protected areas in the states of Gujarat, Rajasthan and Maharashtra. So because this is all our natural ecology, हमको अपने plants and animals को, because the entire food chain is also dependent on, let's say, the tiger, right? The tiger is at the top of the food chain, so it is important. So ये information जो दी गई है, इसके ऊपर भी आपसे 1 मार्क का या 2 मार्क का प्रश्न पूछा जा सकता है. So please remember all this information that has been given in this kind of form. Okay. This is very interesting, which is the sacred groves. Now, what are the sacred groves? They are undisturbed patches of forest कि जहां पर किसी भी तरह का human interference नहीं हो. Where there is no human interference, those are known as the sacred groves. Now, this is how they look. You see, there is a bit of a, there is a sense of calm. There is a sense of, quiet in these kind of places. You will find different kind of branches, roots, creepers, everything, and when you go there, you only hear the sound of the insects like the crickets, the bats, the birds, everyone, right? So sacred groves are found all over India. They are home to different kinds of plants. उसमें medicinal plants होंगे जहां से दवाइयां निकाली जा सकती हो, especially for Ayurveda, right? Including numerous medicinal plants. They are protected by the local community. वहां पर जो local tribes, Adivasi, etc., they stay. They are the ones who protect this particular plant heritage of India. Please note down this word. You can use that in your answers. Your teacher will be impressed. To protect the plant heritage of India. Because heritage matlab, because it has been coming from years down, right? So these are protected by the local community and no one is allowed to harm any animals or cut trees in these groves or disturb the area. You're not allowed to go and build your house out there. Construction activity nahi ho sakta. This way, sacred groves are a community protected treasure of biodiversity. And आप Google कीजिए which are the different sacred groves which are there in different parts of India. This is something very important. Okay, so that is something which you need to do. तो ये तो हो गए. Why isn't it moving up? Okay, so these are the different. आजा यार. The different keywords that you need to know, जो जिन words पे मैंने ध्यान दिया है, things like venation, herbs, shrubs, trees, adaptation, monocot, dicot, parallel venation, reticulate venation, amphibians, aquatic, biodiversity, sacred groves, ये सब के बारे में आपको जानना जरूरी है. These are the keywords as far as this particular chapter is concerned. Okay, so then you have the summary just to go through the entire thing. तो ये आप पढ़ लेंगे तो एक तरह से रिवीजन हो जाएगी this particular chapter की. बाद में we will look at the questions and answers a little later once you have done some more chapters, so that you are a little more comfortable. As far as understanding is concerned, understanding is key. अगर आप समझ गए हैं with the help of photographs, with the help of my explanation, you should be very comfortable answering any questions that are asked from this particular chapter. Please read these notes. These are like the short notes that NCERT has provided. आपको कोई और notes की जरूरत नहीं है. चैप्टर के बाद रिवाइज दीज नोट्स a couple of times. चैप्टर में ही पेंसिल के साथ आप अंडरलाइन कर लीजिए और राइट इन योर डिफरेंट नोटबुक so that you are able to recall it, and the table that I asked you to make, definitely make it. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this particular chapter, chapter 2 on biodiversity. As far as your science is concerned, I'll meet you in the next video on chapter number 3. Till then, God bless you. Do good, be good. Namaskar.